really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard. Which is what, seriously speaking, is all about.
Sadly, recent statistics from the World Health Organization, WHO, show that globally, there are more than 1 million deaths annually from suicide, with 16 people per 100,000 dying, or a death every 40 seconds of one person. Every 40 seconds, one person dies. More disturbing is the fact that there are an estimated 10 to 20 million attempted suicides every year. And the World Health Organization indicates that annually there are over 800,000 deaths by suicide, and that it was the second largest cause of deaths amongst young people between the ages of 15 and 29 in 2012. Now, this looks like it's international-wide, but WHO also says that for 2015, the statistics show that in Nigeria, 990,000 people committed suicide, of which 13.6% were male and 6.1% were female. Some claim that psychiatric disorders such as depression and schizophrenia are the main causes of suicide. Now, it was only recently that we started to hear about people jumping off into the lagoon or shooting themselves in the head or trying to kill themselves with overdose. So obviously, the problem has always been there. It's just that now it is more reported. That's why on Seriously Speaking today, I brought in experts who are going to help to analyze this issue, but it's all anchored on the story of one woman that has been here before, but she wrote a book several years ago. She's lived with sickle cell anemia for over 52 years, but she's still standing, even after how many thoughts of ending it all. So she's my guest, along with some experts on the show today. I'll be right back with Seriously Speaking, and we are looking at mental health. Yes, welcome back. It's always a pleasure to have Toyin on set with me. Although it's always a pain to watch you try to get on my set, you know, with your nice, I call them your boom boom, the two clutches.
My swags.
You call it swag. You know, you call it swag. But you know, the first time I met you was several years ago, and I was reading your book. Yes. And I would not stop saying that one of the most painful parts for me of that book was like I was that little girl who was lying on the bed, watching her little sister jump around, and you couldn't do any of those things. Tell us why you couldn't do any of those things again.
I couldn't basically do most of the things. Was one, I lived with sickle cell, a chronic illness, a blood disorder that affects quite a number of Nigerians, because we have the highest number in the world. And then secondly, I had so many complications.
Double jeopardy.
Double jeopardy. One of the things about sickle cell, it can come with complications. So I had complications, and one of them was a dislocated hip, which happened in the early 70s. And that left me immobile and bedridden for about 6 months. So that's why, basically, I was unable to join my sister to do a lot of things. After that, I started using crutches. So it was really challenging trying to join her to do things. And then on top of it, my parents were like, no, don't do this. You know, the overprotectiveness of parents. Mm-hmm. They are fearful that you'll be sick, you'll be in hospital and all that. So they reduced the number of stuff I did. And that limited my mobility.
Your mobility.
Yeah.
Okay, but now, before I get to that point, tell us a little about your history, because I do know that your parents had 2 kids.
Yes.
I mean, you were born in the 60s.
Yes.
So at that time, it appeared that sickle cell anemia wasn't so known. But your father was a professional.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. But even then, it was still not known. Because way back then, I think it was only one doctor who finally figured in the whole of the hospital that what was wrong with me at that time. They had just arrived from overseas. They've been living abroad, and they just arrived in Nigeria. And then getting used to the scheme of things, give back to me, my parents, give back to me, and then only to be told that, oh, your second child has sickle cell anemia.
Well, you were the first child?
No, I was the second.
You were the second child?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't known then, and so I can understand it being a difficult time trying to balance.
How old were you when they found out that you were sick?
I was about 2 years plus.
So before that, what were you experiencing?
Before that, I won't. All I remember is that I was always in hospital, and I don't know how it is in Luth now, but the beds were like prisons to you as a young child. You see these high garage things and all that. So I just remembered me being jabbed 24/7 in an effort to try and get vein to either do a blood transfusion or give you IV fluids, intravenous fluids and all that. So it was a very difficult, uncomfortable time. And as I grew up, it became more noticeable that I was different.
Were you depressed?
Not early on, because early on you're just like, okay, why can I not do this? Why can't I do that? You don't understand anything about depression. You just know that you're not able to do that and you think, okay, maybe it's a general thing. Until you get older, you now become aware that, no, not everybody is like this. Not everybody
So why
has
me?
to deal. Exactly. So you now become, especially at the teens level, where you're more conscious, you're now like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do this? And then my education was also disrupted, which made matters worse for me. So then I became more self-conscious of my disadvantage, as it were.
But again, what I find interesting is the fact that your sister is AA and
Yes.
you're SS. You never felt sad or guilty and say, you are the one, you could have just borrowed me one A.
Well, the borrowing part, yes, but I never felt sad because we were, maybe just because we were two. We were a very close-knit family, and we used to make a joke that we were a family of Oyinbo people.
But your
We're not
father
typical-
was once a VC of
Yes,
Unilag.
of Unilag, yes. We're not your typical traditional family, as it were. So we're more... westernized, exactly. So we are close-knit. We did everything together. We went, shipping on this ocean, cruise and everything. Although I got sick during the cruise, but we basically did everything together. So we were close. I was very close with my sister, and I'm still very close with my sister.
So I'll take a break, because when we return with my experts, we're going to be talking about the issue of support systems and also, more importantly, identifying the point at which you begin to feel suicidal. I'll be right back. Yes, welcome back to the edition of the Seriously Speaking that is looking at depression and relating it to suicides and hoping that you're not like me, who's functionally depressed. Let them explain to me. I have two medics, so to speak. I have a medical doctor in the house, Dr. Akin Odupiton.
Yes, please.
I got it right.
You got it right.
Yes, it's nice to have you on the set. And then
Absolute
Tolushe. Tolushe. I've never heard that, but you learn every day. Tolushe Francis. So Tolushe is I call you a psychoanalyst.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what you are.
Okay, so, like that.
Something like that. Okay, but Dr. Akin tells me that some of the terms that we use to describe people puts people away from them.
Yeah, so I'm a medical literacy expert. So.
But you're a medical doctor.
Yes. But I found out that a lot of the things we say seem to be like we're talking above people's heads.
Yeah.
So when you say he's our in-house psychoanalyst, everybody's wondering, who's that? What is that? But what that means in summary is that he's a mental health expert. And it can be useful to you, particularly in the areas of psychotherapy.
Okay, so what is psychoanalyst? Are you when we see movies, see the people that take this thing, sleep, sleep. Is that what you are?
No, that's not who I am.
But you can do that.
Yes, I can, but that's not who I am.
Okay, let's talk seriously here now. Why did you choose to go the field of mental health? Biochemistry was your original course.
Okay, so I got to a point in my life where I realized everything that we do comes from the mind. I got very interested in the mind. I got very interested in how people think. And I got to a point in my life, I think I had issues with admission, and I realized it was affecting me,
Admission to do what again?
Into school. Before I got into school, I actually wanted medicine in the first place. I wanted medicine in the first place, so I didn't get that. And then I thought to myself, let me go study why people think the way they think and why they behave the way they behave. So that got me to the field of mental health. And then I took special interest in emotions. Why do people cry? How people handle grief and loss. In fact, that's my new area of research now, grief and loss. And then why people get depressed.
So now, when you saw those reports about people jumping off the cliff, the statistics I quoted, for example, 800,000 deaths in Nigeria, and we've only had about 3 or 6 in recent times. Can we be that many who are actually taking their lives via suicide?
It is possible. We can't be. We only know what we know, or we only know what we hear rough. So when people say, no, he didn't do it, or nobody hated him, I tell them, what do you know about the person? The person wakes up in the morning, goes out. You assume the person is going to work. The person never gets to work. You don't know. You just realize he didn't come back. Nobody calls you to inform you. You didn't see this person at work. This person didn't come to school. So you only know what you know. You don't assume. But like I said, we can't have that. Our statistics, the way our analysis in Nigeria, we don't have precise statistical data as it were in Nigeria.
Well, this is the World Health Organization statistics, though, as quoted. But I just wonder, though, as a medical doctor who's also about medical literacy, is it a fact that it was a medical doctor that jumped off the cliff? I mean, I keep calling it cliff, off the Third Mainland Bridge.
Yes, he was.
It was your classmate.
Yes, he was.
And, you know, is this a function of... And you tell me that to commit suicide doesn't happen the first time.
Okay, let me start from the statistics, the WHO statistics. Now, while what is reported might seem small, you say, oh, well,
small?
Yeah, you say, WHO says 800,000. But what we hear on news and social
Just
media is 3, 4, 5, 10. If you count everything, you're talking about maybe, 100, thereabout. But if you consider the sheer volume of missing persons,
Yes.
completely undocumented, unaccounted for. And I mean, yes, we know our environment, we have all the kidnappings and accidents and ritual killings and what have you. But certainly, suicides have their chunk of that piece of missing persons. And that's very important because it then instructs us. Like you said, he was a medical doctor.
That's Dr. Oji.
Yes, he was a medical doctor. Absolutely brilliant chap. But like I talk to people when I talk about depression, you know, rose-tinted glasses make the world look pink. When you wear shades, everywhere looks dark. It is not as much about the experience people have. It's about what's happening inside them. It's about the support structures they have internally and externally, and how much they've invested, and how much we have invested in those support structures.
Okay, that takes me to Toyin now. Toyin, when you heard about that doctor, because when I heard about him, and I read the story about him being a sickler, you came to my mind immediately. I mean, I look at you, I look at how you could have been different, but this is what you are.
Yeah.
And you're still standing. You know, I say, I'm going to change the title of your book to Standing Tall. We got to do that. Standing tall. And you, I mean, how come you have, I said, well, I really didn't feel pity for the young man, sadly. Knowing someone like you, what did you feel like?
I felt pity because I know where he was coming from. I know the experience I faced early on in my struggle to find myself.
Do you still face that?
Oh, yes, but because I have a higher... Let me... There are 3 things I say that helps you keep your sanity. Purpose, support, and knowledge.
So I want us to round up now. As we are seeing this more increased number of cases, and we know that the situation in the country is really very bad. Financial-wise, people can't feed. So the fear is that many more people are going to take this as an option since they know that at least that bridge I can jump off in Lagos. So I want us to round up with one word that helps people to understand how to check these things.
Okay, so first thing, early detection and diagnosis leads to early treatment. Now, for early detection, you need to understand the warning signs.
So share some of them with us.
When you talk about depression, there are usually 3 things. Number 1, the person feels sad for most of the day, for many days in the week. And that he has told us a few things about that. Number 2, the person doesn't take pleasure in the usual thing the person takes pleasure in. So this person likes eating, the person likes going out. He just doesn't find as much pleasure in those things again. And then number 3 is that you usually find changes in the person's sleep patterns. The person either sleeping much more than usual or sleeping much less than usual or more restless. When you find those 3 things, that trifecta, in people, help them get help on time.
You were telling me something about if you notice certain patterns of behavior.
Yes. For example, when I was going through my own episode, I had a particular corner in my room where I sit. Just myself and my laptop. Nothing bothers me anymore. I'm not concerned whether anybody's at home or whether anything is going on.
So they choose one spot to sit?
One spot. If such a person has a laptop, that laptop can be the person's friend.
But these days everybody is doing social media.
Yes, you can still decipher. You can still differentiate if that person has changed or has swung into another mood. Okay, the person stops going out.
Doesn't like
Let's
to
go. I'm not interested. I'm not just interested. My concern basically has been to people around. I encourage everyone to be vigilant.
So
watch over your neighbor.
Be your brother's keeper.
Don't just love by words of mouth. Love with your actions.
What are your own final words?
Talk to someone.
Men, you see that statistics about men being the most...
Yes, we bottle things a lot and we don't talk. And if you can't talk, there's a thing that worked for me and people recommend it. Write a journal. Pour and rant on a journal, on a diary. Just pour and rant.
And you just might publish it someday. And move back.
No, it's not necessary that you publish it, but it's just a way of relieving yourself. Yes. And then when you look back at what you write, you probably realize that it may not have been as bad as it was.
Thank you very much for being my guest. I just do quick handshakes to say thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching. We're going to have a part 2 of this, trust me. Because people say motivation can be an answer, but this is beyond motivation. I'll be examining that in the next edition of this show. We'll see you again.